Welcome to Stamps Old World UK, your go-to channel for everything in philately, rare stamps, and market values today. In this video, we'll dive deep into the fascinating world of stamps, how the value is determined in 2025, what collectors are paying in dollars, and expert tips to help you understand whether your own stamps might be hidden treasures. Let me start with a striking example. A rare 2-cent encased postage stamp, a very unusual type of stamp encased in brass housing, is currently estimated in the market between $102,000 and $109,000, depending on condition and provenance. This shows how a seemingly small denomination can hide a fortune when rarity, history, and condition align. Now, let's move from extreme rarities to more everyday stamps. Take, for instance, a classic George Washington 2-cent carmine red used stamp from the early 1900s. Among listings today, some examples in excellent condition are going for several $100s, while more common, average condition ones fetch $100,000 to $500,000. Source: eBay listings. In contrast, a mint or exceptionally well-preserved example with rare markings or paper variety could leap into the hundreds or even low thousands. So how are these values established today? First and foremost, rarity is king. The fewer examples known, especially in high grade, the more collectors will compete. Second is condition, centering, margins, cancel or absence thereof, gum, perforation integrity, color vibrancy, all these play a crucial role. Third is historical or thematic interest. Stamps tied to famous events, errors, or unique printing varieties often command premium prices. Fourth is provenance and authentication. Stamps with certified expertization or belonging to known collections carry more trust and command higher bids. In 2025, the stamp market is influenced by a few broader trends. Stamp collecting is increasingly seen not just as a hobby, but as an alternative investment class, especially for rare and high-end items. Source: Benzinga Guide. Auction houses bring international reach, driving competition among buyers globally. At the same time, the majority of inherited or general collections will never reach blockbuster prices. Most will be modest in commercial value. Source: Paul Fraser Collectibles. If you wonder how to gauge your own collection's worth, here are steps you can follow. First, catalog and photograph each stamp carefully under good lighting. Then research specialized catalogs, for example, the 2025 US/BNA stamp catalog gives current price estimates, source Harris Stamp Catalog, or consult online marketplaces for comparables. Next, for stamps that seem potentially valuable, obtain authentication and professional grading. Finally, decide whether you wish to sell via auction, dealer, or private sale. Each route has its own trade-offs in fees and audience reach. Let me share one more dramatic story. The famous US 1868 1-cent Z-Grill stamp, one of only two known, sold in recent years for around $4.4 million at auction, making it one of the highest single stamp sales ever. Source: news reports. That kind of return illustrates just how far the top end of this hobby investment scale can reach. So what should you take away? Yes, extraordinary returns exist, but for most collectors, the journey is built on careful research, patience, and treating stamps as objects of beauty and history first. Even modest pieces may hold surprises. If you like, I'll create a video next where I examine your stamps, and together we estimate their market value in 2025 dollars.
Next up, the likely identity of this red carmine 2-cent George Washington stamp, what collectors are paying for it in 2025, and tips to evaluate your own pieces more confidently. The example you've shown is very reminiscent of the 1915 2-cent George Washington, red, single-line watermark, Type I, Perf 10 horizontal issue. According to Mystic Stamp, a mint example of this issue is presently listed around $300–500. Mystic Stamp Company. That gives us a useful benchmark for what a high-end specimen can command when condition, gum, centering, and authenticity are all excellent. However, Not every example will reach that level. A more usual, lightly used copy or one with minor faults, centering off, small faults, or less desirable gum might currently trade for a few $100s or less. In fact, in many online listings, less pristine versions of 2-cent red Washington stamps are being offered in the $505–$800 range, depending on condition and cancellation. eBay. To interpret these price gaps, keep these key factors in mind. First, condition matters enormously. A perfectly centered stamp with full original gum, sharp perforations, no thinning or creases, brilliant color, and no hinge marks will command a premium. Second, rarity and variant type play a huge role. Some printings or watermarks are rarer or more desirable than others. The Type I and watermark type, printing plate, perforation, and paper variety all affect value. The 1915 red type is known to be among the more valuable varieties. Values.hobbyzine.com. Third, market risk and liquidity. While top postage stamps may reach thousands of dollars, many collectors or dealers are cautious about paying high prices unless authentication and provenance are strong. For many everyday copies, price expectations are far more modest. Fourth, authentication and certification matter. A certificate from a respected philatelic expertising body can significantly bolster buyer confidence, and hence price, especially for higher-end stamps. Without that, even a beautiful stamp might not command its theoretical maximum. In today's market, even though there are spectacular headline sales, most stamps in personal collections will not be in that top tier. Many will find realistic value ranges in the tens to low hundreds of dollars, unless they are in exceptional condition or rare varieties. If you like, I can create a full video script focused just on this stamp image, walking through identification, variant comparison, condition checklist, and likely 2025 market value. Do you want me to write that?
Next up, the 1931 2-cent Yorktown commemorative stamp. This classic red and black issue honors the 150th anniversary of the British surrender at Yorktown in 1781, the decisive victory that ended the American Revolutionary War. It's a stamp that carries the image of great leaders from that era and a deep sense of history on every perforated edge. The 2-cent Yorktown stamp, officially known as Scott No. 703, was released in 1931 as part of a special commemorative series. The stamp beautifully depicts three prominent figures, George Washington, Count de Rochambeau, and the Comte de Grasse, representing the combined forces that secured America's independence. Its bold red and black design quickly made it one of the most recognizable and beloved commemoratives of its time. Now let's talk about what collectors really want to know, the current market value in today's dollars. As of 2025, a standard mint-condition Yorktown stamp with full original gum and good centering is worth around $600,000. A lightly used or hinged copy often sells for less, while examples that are exceptionally well-centered with pristine gum and strong color might bring a few dollars more. However, there are rarer varieties, such as the 703B color error, printed in a darker lake and black shade, which can command hundreds of dollars when certified and offered at auction. What determines the difference between a 60-cent collectible and a stamp worth hundreds? It all comes down to four major factors: condition, rarity, authenticity, and demand. Perfect centering, clean perforations, and vibrant ink all increase appeal. Rarity, such as a printing or color variation, can multiply the value dramatically. Certification from a trusted philatelic expert gives buyers confidence that the stamp is genuine and unaltered. Finally, demand among history lovers and collectors of the American Revolution theme helps sustain interest in this beautiful issue. Even if your 2-cent Yorktown stamp isn't worth a fortune, it still holds immense historical and cultural value. Each stamp tells a story of courage, unity, and the end of a war that shaped the modern world. Holding this little piece of printed art is like holding a small part of 18th century history in your hands. It's a reminder that sometimes the greatest treasures aren't measured by their price, but by the history they carry and the people they connect us to. Thank you for watching Stamps Old World UK. I hope you enjoyed learning about the Yorktown commemorative stamp and its place in both history and today's market value.
If you love discovering the hidden stories and values of classic stamps, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Join me next time as we continue our journey through the fascinating world of philately, where every stamp has a story and every collection has a secret waiting to be uncovered.